58. Worry and fear. Fear.
They feared that they couldn't buy food due to rising prices. I have a fear of darkness.
Scare.
Don't be scared. The tree was just struck by lightning.
Timid.
I was a timid boy. I didn't have any confidence in myself.
Terrify.
The distant sound of guns terrified the citizens. The citizens were terrified at the distant sound of guns.
Alert.
The enemy may attack us at night. Stay alert and stay alive. The soldiers around the castle were put on full alert. The sailors alerted the Navy immediately when they saw the suspicious ship.
Dread.
They dreaded climbing up the high cliff on a rainy day. It is natural that the prospect of inevitable death fills everyone with dread. The girl had her ears pierced.
Shriek.
The passengers shrieked in fear when the ship hit a rock. The door opened by itself and the girls let out a piercing shriek.
Intimidate.
The protesters were so intimidated by the police that they quickly ended their strike.
Alarm.
There is growing alarm whenever a nation expresses the desire to build nuclear weapons. If anything happens, sound the alarm by pressing the emergency button. She woke up when the alarm went off. There is an alarming report that crime is increasing in our city.
Attack.
The government came under fierce attack for its policy to raise taxes. The enemies attacked us at dawn by surprise.
Flee.
The enemies fled away in defeat.
Panic.
They ran out of the building in panic when the fire broke out. The passengers panicked when fire came out of one of the plane's engines.
Horrify.
She was horrified to hear that her son was being chased by the police.
Grave.
We will be in grave danger if a massive meteorite heads toward Earth. The principal looked grave, announcing the new school rules. Koreans visit their ancestors' graves on special holidays.
Bother.
There was still the sound of gunfire, but it didn't bother the reporter. Don't bother washing the dishes. I'll do it later.
Bothersome.
The buzzing mosquitoes are bothersome to most people.
Concern.
The global financial crisis is a matter of grave concern to all of us. The president expressed his concern for human rights. They were concerned with helping students enhance their English competence. We are very concerned about the global financial crisis.
Worrisome.
The rising costs of college tuition is a worrisome matter.
Anxious.
I'm anxious about the safety of my daughter. After a month in Japan, she was anxious to go back to her family.
Impatient.
My friend is 30 minutes late, and I am getting impatient.
Frustrated.
The artist became frustrated when the people couldn't appreciate his paintings.
Desperate.
She was lost in the forest, and she grew desperate as the day became darker.
Despair.
He was in such despair that he locked himself in his room for 3 days. Despite his successive failures, he never despaired. Words in context. They found a cave but feared going into it. They were scared, and Anne, who was very timid, was even terrified. But John decided to walk into the cave. They stayed alert but dreaded losing their way. Suddenly, Anne screamed a piercing shriek when she saw a bat. Its red eyes intimidated and alarmed them. When it shrieked as if it would attack them, they panicked and fled out of the cave. It was a horrifying experience. When they came out of the cave, the wilderness spread as far as they could see. John looked grave and worried. He didn't bother walking through the wilderness, but his friends were exhausted. He was concerned about their safety. The weather got worrisome as it got dark. During the night, the blizzard blew hard, making horrible noises, and his friends anxious and impatient. They had to walk through deep snow the whole night. They got frustrated and desperate when they could see no signs of civilization. In despair, a girl even burst into tears. After a few days in the wilderness, John found graves with tombstones, which meant there must be a village nearby. At dusk, they could see lights and were relieved.